An emotional IQ of 1250, I'd say. You say walk with me, I walk with you. We talk about the weather, and we traverse the things that have brought us here together. Your breathing begins laboring as you fight to leash my leather. Well, this is what happens when you choose Ursa, your treasure. Should it be so easy to select a grizzly for your daily pleasure? And as we test for hierarchy, I test your boundaries for errors. I concede to you the lofty things, though you smoked and mirrored. I growl, I root around to find out just where your heart is stored. And when I scratch upon the touchstone, I see the marks before. The young know everything. The middle-aged suspect everything. And the old, well, they believe everything. At 59, I find myself entering. This sounds good to me. Just take it down the hall. Phase of my life. Yeah, my touchstone, it's got a few sutures in it. It's got a few marks. That's faux show. And a whole lot more. Uh, 1250. Barclay, crew member USS Enterprise, village idiot, possessed by an alien intelligence probe, transformed to the point that he can no longer contain himself in his human shell, the workings of his mind, goes to a special room where you can create things out of just asking the computer to do it. Finds he has to tell the computer how to create something because it doesn't know how, has said device created, and ties himself absolutely into the computer of the ship. He had to get out of that cranium, I guess. That brain was getting too, I don't know. And when he's asked about his mental condition as he's tied into this thing, his mental awareness state, he says, of his IQ, about 1250. Which I'm like, bitch, shut up. If your IQ was 1250, you wouldn't be saying about. What is that one guy says? Remove or add 1 cent for, add 12 cents for poor writing. Ching! Ching, ching. I love watching that show. Cinema Sense. Yeah. Daniel T. Idiot savant. Goes to somewhere up in Reykjavik, somewhere up in there, and learns some dialect. It's like really hard to learn. I'm told it's harder than English, and English, I'm told, is very hard to learn. It's not your first tongue. He sits down with a tutor for like a week. He goes on a talk show. At the end of the talk show, the commentator was asked of this Daniel T. how he did speaking in their language, and the guy says, basically, he did pretty good. That's scary, isn't it? Scary. Look at how these people come along in our lives and our history, and they're special in some way. Oh, there's the bridge. Thank you, because I was grappling for that, Lord. Yeah, because I want to character assassinate him next. He's next. I like him. So I need to take his inventory kind of like and come at him. Okay. So how did I tie it together? Because I forgot. 1250. Yeah. Gets back to that the golden sutures I talk about. The marks on my soul. Lessons of life. How's that? Lessons of life. I know a guy, I kind of fancy him, my contemporary in a lot of ways. He's my age, within a year. And I remember one time, I was just being a dork. I don't even know why. I'm glad I did now, though. I was like, shut up, man. Just give some money to my church. My church needs some money. Come on. Get off some money. You know you got it, boy. You got the money. You know, make a little contribution. Come on. It'll help your personal return. I know that do nothing for your choir, but it'll help your personal return. Come on. And I think I may have alluded to possibly him attending. I don't know that I went that far. I was just trying to get money out of him for the church, if I'm being honest. And this man has become, we are business associates, and he has become more than a business associate. We've become rather brotherly. Oh, he's a Turkish man, though. Oh. Do not screw with Arabs, okay? I've been to Egypt. I've been to the Middle East. Do not screw with Arabs. With an Arab man, here's what you want to do. You want to establish a mutual respect, for starters. That's how you open with an Arab man, okay? You need to make sure he understands you respect him, because he's going to be offering it to you initially without you even earning it, and he expects likewise. That means common reality in that moment when you are dealing with somebody else, say a Turkish man. You respect him because he's respecting you initially. All right, I digress. Men of honor. Hot-blooded Arabs. Thanks, Esau. That's right, I'm pinning this one on you. And I remember this man writing the check, and as he wrote it, he felt guilty. I remember. I know people that know me go, how do you remember these things? I go, well, if I can use it against you at any point down the line, you better believe I'm going to remember it, because I'm a drug addict, and that's how we survive. We learn to discount you any way possible so that when you come at us and attack our addiction, we can discount the messenger. I remember he was writing the check, and there was an air of remorse, guilt. And I remember he spoke the words. I can't swear to a quote, but I remember him saying almost nonchalantly, it's John speak for nonchalant, try to keep up, sort of whistling through the graveyard. There it is. Thank you, Master. You inhabit my mind. I am grateful. I have asked for such. You were eager to oblige, weren't you? Oh, yeah. It's like he was whistling through the graveyard as he wrote the check. And he said, I'll probably turn into a puff of smoke. That's beautiful. And And man is as guilty, if not more so, than Lucifer for this thing called religiosity. This is probably one of the finest men I've ever known. I am proud to call this man my friend. This Turk. How do I come at him? Have I not tiptoed through the tulips once or twice by now, do you think? Not think? You know I have. Why, I even got him to donate a car to the church for a fundraiser. Just so people could take baseball bats and crowbars and such at the vehicle. You had to pay like so much to, bang on the vehicle, break the glass. I think it was more to break the glass. It was a fundraiser for the church. It was a Mercedes-Benz. Now, it was an older Mercedes, but it was a Mercedes-Benz. Nice car, nice running machine. And now I use that, and as time has passed, because God is a little slow for me sometimes. You see, I love this man. Dare I say, I actually have an affinity, a special love for this man because of his soul. I recognize particular aspects of his soul, and I find them delicious. I approve of them, as I would think that my Heavenly Father would approve of these aspects. Dare I speak for God on that point? He has behaviors and thought processes which I find noble and selfless. So I've worked on him over the months. I had to bring up the Mercedes, and I just, out of the blue one day, a couple months ago, I said, you remember that Mercedes you donated to the church? He was like, and crushed him. Especially when I think I sent him pictures of the trim that they'd saved, because I told him, same like he had instructed us, like pull off the trim first, because you can sell that on eBay. Ooh, how that must have just his poor little Mercedes. That's terrible. So about a month or so ago, I said, I don't know if I was just being devilish or I was liking it, because God is not moving fast enough for me. I like this man. I might have a schedule to keep too, God Daddy. I might have a list of naughty and nice that I keep too, Okay, pros and cons, assets and liabilities. You ever stop thinking about, no, it's all about you, isn't it, God? And so about a month or so ago, I said, well, this is, I worry about my friend. I was like, think about that Mercedes. Remember that Mercedes donated? He's like, yeah, I remember. I was like, just think about that for the next day or two. That's all I'm asking you to do. As nonchalantly as I could, And we were talking about something else, business that we're, trying to close down. I slipped it in, as just, you know what I mean? I was trying to be the thief in the night type thing. You know what I'm saying? Because God isn't moving fast enough for me. So I don't know what's become of it. But as I ended the call with my friend, I turned to God. Of course, we all know by now where he's supposed to be. Bad disc in my neck. Looked up and I said, all right, look. I've done my part. I set this wide up for you. All you got to do is your coincidence thing. All you got to do is add just some kind of stupid coincidence. That is, an offer you can't refuse type. Because God Daddy's good at that. When he wants something, he'll make you an offer that you cannot refuse. I'm like, here, I brought the Mercedes back to his mind. Work your mojo, man. What do you want from me? To this time, I don't know that anything's become of that. The fruit of my labor, working for God Daddy. You know, maybe he's busy. I don't know. I figure I'll just help him a little bit. Can you ever do God's work when God's work in your mind in that moment is to get somebody to start thinking about God Daddy? Nope, I don't think there is. And it's kind of like praying. I don't think you can find a bad reason to put God in somebody's mind. I don't see it. Unless, of course, wait, and I'll close with this because this is good. Unless, of course, where am I at? Hold on. Because I want to stay under 20 minutes, I think. I don't know why I feel like that, but whatever. I got two that are like really close. Unless, of course, a man comes to you and says, hey, man, there's somebody in your kingdom that ain't acting quite right. He stole a baby lamb from one of the other people, and that's all this other guy had was just his baby lamb. And this guy that stole it had a whole bunch of lambs. Set King David up. Oh, I'll tell you about. I gotta write that down because I gotta tell you about that other story. Oh, you talk about setting people up. Wait, oh, this is wild as I sort of go like retro diary, posthumously backwards into the machine. Okay, so shooty pooty. Oh man, no, I lost my train. Give me a second. And then the trim, and you can get the trim on eBay. Yeah, I'm on the summate with some. Oh yeah. I don't know where I'm at, but I know what I'm summating with. Okay, so just you keep all that for me. And so he says to the guy, he said, and the king, upon hearing this, I ain't gonna mention no names. That'd be kind of cheesy of me, King David. There, I said it. Nope, called the man out. Oh, little rock thrower at big people. Called him out. There's a man of God. There's a man after God's heart. Oh, King David. Oh, that's a long story. Oh. And the guy comes to him and says, yeah, man, there's this guy in your kingdom, right? And he's like stolen this little land, blah, blah, blah. Oh, man, King David was like, oh, really? Ha, ha, ha. I got to feel at this point. I got to be careful. I'm getting woozy here. I'm about ready to pass out because I'm inside King David's heart right now, right? I'm living it with him. Yes, I am. King David has been like, give me this man's name. It's so beautiful because the king forgot who he was talking to in that moment. You see, if memory serves, I believe the man's name was Nathan. I know, like the hot dogs, only not. And Nathan was what you'd call like, he's not the shoot, he's not the jester. He'd be more like the wise man on the floor, the manager on duty. Okay, he'd be the conduit of the master. And the king's like, who's this mofo right here? Telling me who he is. Leading with his chin, it's so beautiful. And Nathan looks at him and he says, you are that man. I don't know how I went down this tear, but I'm almost out of time. I don't care. We're going to go over 20 minutes, see what happens. So yeah, he's writing a check. He's like, I'll probably turn into a puff of smoke. Do you see how religiosity, I'm talking all of it. I'm talking about Eastern philosophies that approach kismet, nirvana, oneness with the universe, call it what you will, that approach spirituality. You see how religiosity keeps you in a perpetual state of a woe is me nature? I'm not good enough. That's fine for Teddy Roosevelt. And by the way, I'm with him. Well, I have a particular affinity for bears, especially grizzly bears. It's kind of part of me, whether I like it or not. Oh, I'm with Teddy Roosevelt on that one. Get rid of that damn bird. Damn scavenger. Give me a grizzly bear any day. Of course, they scavenge too, but just forget about it. Now, how do I go down this tear? Yes, I speak softly, but I carry a big stick. Teddy Roosevelt. Fine for its time, and it's for intended purpose. But it has been usurped by religiosity. And it constantly lords that big stick over you. And until you surrender to God Almighty, to the supreme deity of the universe, it is only then that you can truly win. Giving little or no disregard to religiosity, giving total regard to your heart and handing it to Him and say, here, take my heart.